he gonna get caught. He'll pop out on you. He get there too quick.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet?
Several experienced boxing experts have warned Jake Paul about facing Gervonta "Tank" Davis, especially after recent training clips revealed Davis showing lightning speed and devastating power. They cautioned that a fight with such a major size gap is not only physically dangerous, but also harmful to boxing's image. Analysts stress that Paul must treat Davis as a proven, explosive fighter rather than a YouTuber-turned-boxer. Critics add that the training footage highlights Davis's sharp technique, quick movement, and ability to corner opponents, which could be a serious threat if Paul underestimates him.
Quite surprised because it sounded like Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua was getting closer and closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it?
Promoter Eddie Hearn has strongly warned Jake Paul about the risks of facing Gervonta Davis, stressing that the outcome could be dangerous and potentially devastating. He believes the matchup is a clear mismatch and has serious concerns about Paul's safety. While acknowledging the fight's huge commercial draw and rating its chances as 50-50, Hearn's message remains clear. Paul is risking more than his record in this bout. His health is at stake.
I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight. But I truly believe you're going to see it at the beginning of 2026.
Daniel Cormier offered a balanced but critical take on Jake Paul's choice to fight Gervonta Davis. He acknowledged Paul's promotional skills and rising credibility, even praising the way he has built himself into a figure Netflix continues to work with. Still, Cormier pointed out the clear size mismatch. Davis, who fought at about 133.8 pounds in his last match, is giving up a huge gap to Paul, who weighs close to 200 pounds. Cormier stressed that while Davis is the better boxer, the weight difference is impossible to ignore. He warned that a Davis win could derail Paul's momentum, but at the same time, Davis also risks embarrassment by stepping in with someone so much bigger.
When a disruptor challenges a legend, guys, anything can happen. When a kid that was on YouTube and on Disney walked there and said, I'm going to be a professional boxer, Jake Paul needs to be commended for that. He had a vision, and he honestly executed that vision better than anyone ever could have expected. But sometimes you want something so badly that you don't recognize the dangers that come with wanting that thing and then getting that thing. Now Jake Paul has gotten himself to a point where he's fighting someone that could truly, truly end his career. All right, Mike Tyson. We're talking about one of the scariest, most dangerous fighters to ever step foot in the squared circle. For me, it's pretty simple. Jake Paul, in the Mike Perry fight, he got a great appetizer for what he will get in the main event. A fighter that starts very fast, that throws things to take your head off, and you have to kind of match the intensity to ultimately get your shots off. Jake Paul today announced that he has signed with the PFL.
The PFL.
A couple weeks ago, Jake Paul and I were messaging each other about an appearance on my show, DC and RC. Just kind of talking about his future. And honestly, Jake and I have had some run-ins. When I started talking to him and I'm messaging him, he's a kid that's very respectful. And we had respectful conversations. He has an idea what he wants to do. Now, these kids today are different, right? So he's very boisterous, he's very verbal, he speaks big. But will Jake Paul actually fight in the PFL? A lot of boxers say they're going to fight, but they never actually do. Here's the thing about Jake Paul, though. He's from Ohio. Ohio has some of the best high school wrestling. Jake Paul was a high school wrestler there. So was his brother, Logan. They weren't bad. I believe this one, he'll actually fight.
Former super middleweight champion Carl Froch has strongly warned about the safety risks in the upcoming Paul versus Davis exhibition, pointing to the estimated 65-pound weight difference. Paul usually fights near 200 pounds, while Davis competes at 135. Froch stressed that although Davis has greater skill, Paul's size and unusual power pose a real danger, noting that Davis is not used to taking punches from someone that heavy. His concerns echo the wider unease in boxing circles, where the matchup is viewed less as a fair contest and more as a spectacle that raises serious questions about legitimacy and fighter safety.
At his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer. He never will be, and he proves time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just, everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Ryan Garcia harshly criticized the matchup, questioning its legitimacy and calling the idea completely insane. He argued that modern boxing is losing its credibility and compared the sport to professional wrestling, saying it now resembles WWE more than a serious competition. According to Garcia, such matchups damage boxing's integrity, making it harder for fans to take the sport seriously. In his words, boxing is officially the WWE.
Today we're going to talk about the boxing world and another fight that Jake Paul just booked for his joke of a career against a 65-plus smaller guy than him in Gervonta Davis. Jake Paul is a circus sideshow for low IQ incels. Nobody should be falling for this carny bullshit about him being a real fighter. Gervonta is a million times better than him, so he has to handicap Gervonta's skill by being a giant lab rat with a 65-plus weight advantage over him. This is a joke. This is a mockery to the sport of fighting. You know, the best are supposed to fight the best. Why is he fighting a guy that's, you know, in his last fight, Mike Tyson, who, you know, he's got a 40-year age gap between them? You know, why are you fighting a guy that should be in line for, you know, the early bird special, not fighting in a boxing ring and Mike Tyson? Now you're fighting a guy who is, you know, tiny. He's a 130-pound fighter. You fight in the 210, 210, 220 weight range. So, you know, this is another joke in Jake Paul's career. You know, he claims to want to be a real fighter, but, you know, he's not taking the real steps to be real fighters and fighting, you know, top 10 guys and fighting the best guys in the world. You know, he fights, you know, these circus sideshows against guys that have no business being in there against him. So, you know, I guess this is the state of boxing. It's dead. UFC took over, and, you know, this is what you get now. You get this YouTuber who, you know, is on Lizzie McGuire, and he wants to claim to be a real fighter, but he doesn't want to fight real fighters. So, you know, I think it's ironic though. Why would he hire a lawyer to sue people that say that his fights are fixed if they weren't, allegedly? So I don't know. It's kind of weird. You guys do the math. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Ryan Garcia strongly condemned the matchup, calling it completely insane and questioning its legitimacy. He argued that modern boxing is losing credibility and compared it to professional wrestling, saying the sport now looks more like WWE than real competition. Garcia believes fights like this hurt boxing's integrity and make it harder for fans to take the sport seriously, bluntly stating that boxing has officially become the WWE.
On a guy who's obviously a lot heavier than him, but you know, in an exhibition fight. What are your thoughts on this fight?
A really bad mismatch, and you know what? Whoever the promoter is and that's agreed Gervonta to fight, and whoever the promoter is to fight for Jake Paul to say fight this little man. I mean, that's wrong, man. I mean, that's just like torturing someone. I mean, going in there and hurting someone is just not fair on Davis. But like, say you don't know what position Davis is in. I heard that he's been having a lot of legal problems and been arrested a couple of times for a couple of felonies and stuff I've seen with his ex-wife and stuff. So you know what? You don't know what's going through his head. Maybe he just wants to cash up and walk away from the sport. And maybe this is a great opportunity for him where he's seen this fight come up and he's like, fuck it, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're making boxing a joke, really. Yeah. One day someone's going to end up getting hurt so badly, then it's going to definitely destroy the sport.
Amir Khan has sharply criticized the planned exhibition between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, calling it disgusting and warning of serious safety risks. He pointed out the huge weight gap, Paul around 200 pounds versus Davis at 135, as well as the 8-inch height difference, arguing the fight is dangerously mismatched and unlikely to receive professional sanction. Khan cautioned that such contests could cause severe injuries and damage boxing's credibility, while praising promoter Turki Alishik for refusing to support YouTube-style spectacles.
How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet and then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you? That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet to look at you and take you seriously and give you credit as a boxer, you have to go up against someone that keeps you up at night, against someone that gets you out of bed in the morning to go for a run because the fear of them beating you down is real.
Michael Bisping was blunt in his criticism of Jake Paul, labeling him a bully for chasing massive physical mismatches. He highlighted the huge size gap between Paul and smaller fighters like Canelo Alvarez, pointing to a 60-pound difference and a 7-inch height advantage. Bisping slammed Paul's choice of opponents, accusing him of targeting lighter, less skilled fighters to secure easy wins and calling it an embarrassment. He questioned the legitimacy of Paul's status as a boxer, arguing that Paul relies on spectacle and size advantages instead of genuine skill. For Bisping, cherry-picking smaller opponents is nothing more than bully tactics.
Gervonta not filling the rematch clause and just fighting Jake Paul and that whole situation and the reaction of the fight itself.
I feel people people got issues because it's 200 million mandatory or either go fight for 5 million. It's a no-brainer. Like, what's wrong with it? What's a no-brainer?
A hard fight.
And we prize fighters. They prize fighters. Right. The prize is big, and he's gonna retire soon. So you got 200 million right here, and you're about to retire soon, or either a $5 million.
Wait a minute. Kid said he disagreed. Why did he disagree?
I think it's just from a fighter standpoint. And on top of that, he got a draw. It's not like you won. Like you won and you gonna go fight Jake Paul. You got a draw, man. You gotta go get that back.
Why? It was a cherry pick.
I mean, yeah, it was a cherry pick, and you didn't
So
look
hold
good.
on.
So you gotta.
I mean, look, with Jake, the guy's been ducking me or running away from me for so long, man. Like, he's just making excuse after excuse, and now he wants to fight Tank. I mean, it just says the type of guy Jake Paul is. He only fights someone if he has a major advantage. Anything that's close, or anything that could actually be a decent fight, he runs away from it. So,
Dave Allen, the British heavyweight known as the White Rhino, slammed the proposed Paul versus Davis exhibition as a farce and a waste of Davis's prime, arguing that exhibitions should be left to retired fighters. He said Davis, an elite pound-for-pound lightweight, should focus on a rematch with Lamont Roach, while Paul ought to challenge a legitimate cruiserweight instead of chasing spectacle bouts. Allen accused both men of being driven by money rather than sporting merit and bluntly stated he wouldn't waste his time watching what he considers a sham.
But he's never been punched by a rhinoceros, has he yet? So we'll have to see.
He's training this fight, but fighting against real bears. This is true. People are going, no chance, no chance. Do you reckon this guy, could he be the toughest of your opponents so far, do you reckon?
I don't think he's the best that I've faced. I've faced a few Olympic medalists, a few world title challengers, but I think he's probably the most dangerous. Maybe not the best boxer, he might not be the most technical, but he hits really hard, he's really big and strong, so yeah, I think it's the most dangerous task I've faced, but he may be not the best fighter I've been in with.
Whereabouts is the fight, Dave? Where are you fighting him?
He's still at Sheffield Arena,
right?
Headlining in Sheffield, which is like my local arena. So yeah, it's a big night for me.
He won his last fight, didn't he, Dave, against Ricardo Brown, and 20 wins, 19 KOs he's got. So like you says, he is dangerous. How's the training gone for you ahead of this fight?
Yeah, it's been good. He's put a bit of fear in me, to be honest. I have had a bit of genuine fear. I've been stopped, but I've never been on the canvas ever as a pro or amateur. So, and I'd like to keep it that way, really. Yeah. I'm not on anyone's highlight reel. You see highlight reels of all the fighters I face. I'm not on any of them, and I'd like to keep it that way. So yeah, training has gone up a notch. For the Fisher rematch, I did weigh a little bit heavy. So for this one, if I cut any corners, there's a good chance I'll get beat.
Some critics are calling Gervonta Davis's choice to fight a much larger, high-profile influencer the biggest duck in boxing history. Instead of finishing business with a rival in his own division, he went for a payday spectacle, leading many to say he avoided real competition. The move looks less like a sporting challenge and more like a calculated retreat, driven by money and exposure. In a sport where legacy should outweigh profit, picking glamour over genuine rivalries is seen as the ultimate dodge. Many view the fight as a cash grab that puts money above competition, turning boxing into entertainment. With the huge size gap and hype-driven promotion, it feels more like a show than a sport, raising concerns that it damages boxing's values and puts fighters at serious risk, all for financial gain.
Like the internet, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. In sports, Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul have a fight coming up. I ain't even gonna call it a fight, because it ain't. If Jake Paul's involved in it, it's a great acting job. You know Mike Tyson could have just knocked Jake Paul's face into the canvas, but he got paid to pull punches, otherwise he wouldn't have got paid. I'm pretty sure the same is going for Gervonta Davis. It's a quick money grab. Man, most of y'all gonna be suckers who tune in. It's a quick money grab. That's all I'm saying. Ain't gonna be no fight. I don't give a fuck how big Jake Paul is. He can't take one of them little mother tank punches. Yeah, tank move furniture. Move furniture. Catch that motherfucker, move furniture. And Jake don't like his furniture move, so he gonna pay him not to hit him again. If you really want to show out Gervonta, sign a contract that you ain't gonna hit him, because if you hit him, you lose all the money. And then whoop that motherfucker's ass, put him to sleep, and get him out the boxing game once and for all.
Some critics argue that boxing is nearing its downfall, claiming the sport has drifted too far from its foundation of fair competition and real skill. They believe celebrity matchups, mismatched opponents, and spectacle-driven events are now overshadowing its legacy. Instead of showcasing world-class fighters, the focus has shifted almost entirely to entertainment.
Oh! Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles.
Musty energy.
Oh, it's it's Musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Get your hand out of my pocket! Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200-something pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Tank fans, you niggas down bad.
The hatred.
Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad.
What's your take on this matchup? Should Jake Paul finally step in with someone closer to his size and skill level to truly prove himself? Or is this just the way boxing works today? Share your thoughts in the comments.